Yo, what's up, guys? Great win tonight for the Toronto Raptors on back-to-back nights, beating the Sacramento Kings 122-109, guys. Now, how we feeling about this performance tonight, guys? Now, obviously, not a great first quarter and first half by the Toronto Raptors, guys. Raptors started off well in the first quarter, went on like a 12-0 run. But then after, as we saw, Raptors didn't have their legs, weren't playing well defensively, weren't making any shots. Sacramento was playing a zone defense. Raptors were obviously having difficulty breaking down the zone as they've had all year. Of course, Sacramento was doing a really good job, making their shots, driving the lane, drawing fouls. They were really making the Raptors' life very difficult. Jamal Shed had problems with guarding Russell Westbrook at times. Levine was making shots, driving the lane. Malik Monk, as we know, who's a sharpshooter, was making shots, making the Raptors' life very difficult. Raptors D wasn't great. Transition wasn't great. Shots wasn't great. Not getting enough guys down low in the post, not drawing enough fouls. It was a very frustrating first half by the Raptors. Sacramento was the more deserving team leading. Like I said, they were the better team offensively. Now, even though Sacramento is not a great team defensively, the Raptors were missing a shit ton of open shots, really shooting themselves in the foot by not making their baskets. Not like the night prior against the Warriors where the Raptors were making bloody everything. The Raptors clearly did not bring that shooting touch to tonight's game against the Kings. The Raptors were shooting, guys, 36% from the field in the first half. Unacceptable. 35% from three-point land, where you had Sacramento, they were shooting close to 50%, 48% at three-point land. They were shooting worse than the Raptors, but they were able to get down low in the post, draw fouls, make their shots, guys. Sacramento, did a really good job getting points in the paint. They had 30 points in the paint at halftime compared to the Raptors' 22, right? So the Raptors were doing an okay job, but not doing enough to break down the zone in the middle of the court, in the middle of the paint, and making it more difficult for Sacramento. We were making it too easy for the Kings, settling for shots, not driving the lane, not drawing fouls. It was really pissing me off, to say the least. Now, we did do a good job. Fast break points, obviously, be one of the best teams in the NBA in the fast break, having 10 points to their 4. Sacramento, not the best team, when it comes to turning the ball over and such. They're doing a way better job in tonight's game. They only had 6 turnovers. The Kings. Raptors had 5 turnovers. But the Kings, like I said, they were hitting their shots and the Raptors weren't. And you knew Darko had to do something at halftime to change something. The Raptors were just not good enough in that first half. We're doing everything opposite of what they did the night before against the Warriors. And he clearly did something, clearly made adjustments, clearly said something to these guys in the locker room, because as soon as halftime hit, things had changed, because the Raptors came out and they started making their shots, making their open threes, driving down low in the post. Scotty Barnes was making some great passes, got 4 steals as well tonight. So Scotty was all over the place tonight, making some mid-range shots, feeding guys on the three like Jamal Shed, who had a rough first half, had a way better second half, started making some threes. IQ was doing the same thing, making some shots, driving the lane. Sandro Mamu, who I thought had a fantastic game, having 22 points and 9 rebounds tonight, did a spectacular job tonight, deciding, switching it up a little bit between faking a shot, driving the lane, or settling for the 3. Mamu did a really good job switching it up, being versatile. I loved some backdoor cuts that he made tonight. Scotty was feeding him at times in this game. Everybody was looking for him at times. So I really loved how Mamu has filled in the gap without Carl Murray Boyles, because without Murray Boyles, Mamu's really one of the only few bigs that we got in the lineup, other than Jonathan Mobile. Of course, we did get some minutes tonight, but Mamu was fantastic tonight, especially in the third quarter. The Raptors were incredible in that third quarter, guys. Defensively, offensively, they really turned it up a notch in the second half. The Raptors had a 43-21 run in the third quarter, guys. Went on a 20-7 run with the last 5 minutes of the third quarter. They did a fantastic job turning this game around, drawing fouls, making their shots, exposing the Sacramento Kings on transition. The Kings are one of the worst teams defensively in transition, and we know the Raptors are one of the best teams. So the Raptors made it an emphasis to attack the Kings as soon as they get a rebound, push the ball up the floor, and the Raptors did that a lot. We saw Grady Dick drive the lane a lot. We saw Jamal do that a few times. We saw Scotty do that. Jamal did some really good things tonight defensively. This guy's drawn 43 offensive fouls for the Raptors. He is an absolute pest for teams defensively. Got some steals as well. Shed got that one great steal on DeRozan. Had some other great defensive plays. So I really liked what I saw from the Raptors in the second half. They were just a completely different team in the second half. Their defense turned up. Their shooting got a lot better in the second half. Started making some shots. Started driving the lane more. Making free throws. That's another key aspect of this game, guys. But the defense was the biggest reason why the Raptors were able to find a way to win this ball game. Then you got your starters, guys, in double figure. 5 starters in double figures tonight. You can't go wrong with that. You had Scotty with 23, 8, and 7 with the 4 steals, like I mentioned. B.I. 23, 3, and 4 on 7 and 15 shooting. Scotty had 8 of 17 shooting. Mamu had 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists on 8 of 14 shooting. He played 32 minutes. Scotty played 31. B.I. played 34 tonight, guys. Quickly, who I thought had a way better second half, had 35 minutes, 18.6 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 of 12 from the field. Jamal was 5 of 12 from the field, 33 points, 33 minutes, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. So you get some really good production from your 2 guards there, and Quickly and IQ combining for 33 points. That's great to see, guys, combining for 15 assists as well on top of it. You cannot go wrong with that. Those guys had some really good guard play. Way better in the second half defensively compared to the first half. They did have their struggles with Levine and Westbrook and Monk, giving up that shot to Monk at the buzzer there. That really annoyed me. It was the end of the first quarter there. You can't do that stuff there. Got to control the game there and get the last shot there of the quarter for the Raptors there. I think it was the second quarter. I forgot which quarter it was, but Raptors did some good things, guys. Obviously their bench was not one of the brighter spots. You had Mobile with 3 points. Dick had 11. He was the most bright spot off the bench. 19 minutes, 11 points for Grady Dick. I like that Grady drove the lane. I would love for him to make some more shots. Did make a couple shots here and there, but we'd like to see a little bit more efficiency-wise from Grady. But other than that, I thought he played okay tonight. Olchai played 19 minutes, was on the floor for defensive reasons. Only had 4 points. Jameson had 7, made a 3. And Lawson only had 3 minutes as well with no points. So majority of the game tonight was due to their starters. You had B.I., who made some big shots. Scotty, like I mentioned, moved the ball well and did some great things on the floor tonight, guys. Sacramento was looking really good in that first half. You had 3 guys in double figures. You had Westbrook with 12, Levine with 13, Monk with 13. Those guys there did a really good job in the first half, but those guys ended the game not so well. Westbrook had 23 to end the game. Levine had 19, and Monk had 17. So you neutralized Levine and Monk. Those guys had less than 7 points each in the second half. Westbrook was the only guy that was causing any problems for the Raptors. They had no Sabonis tonight, the Kings as well. They're missing a lot of guys tonight, actually. You have no Murray, no Sabonis. And then you have some guys that are in the G League, and then you have a lot of guys that just did not play tonight for the Kings. And then you got Mr. DeMar DeRozan over there, 33 minutes, 9 points. Real productive, pal? Oh, my God, that guy there, don't get me started. That's why we got one of these, and he don't got a ring, because he ain't a championship type of player, if you guys ask me. And then Dennis Schroeder had a good game as well for the Kings. 16 points off the bench. Former Raptor, of course. Him and Malik Monk were the only positives for the Kings in this game. The Kings are absolutely woeful. If the Raptors had lost this game, I would have been furious with the Raptors. You cannot be losing to a team like the Sacramento Kings. Not a chance in hell. They're about to probably trade everybody. They're a bottom of the West team. They're just not a good team. Haven't been a good team for a couple years, obviously, after having that magical run that they had going to the conference final a few years ago, obviously losing to the Golden State Warriors. But the Raptors finish off the game shooting 46% from the field. That's good. 39% from free, guys. 92% from the free throw line, guys. Fantastic. Rebounds, basically the same. Raptors offensive rebound by 3. 30 assists. That's great to see on 43 made field goals. So the Raptors are moving the ball. That's what I like to see, guys, is facilitating. 11 turnovers for the Raptors. That's good. Not too bad. Not horrible. Always like to see turnovers less than 10 a night. That's what I always prefer to see. Raptors did a good job in the paint. Sacramento had 2 more points, but the Raptors did a lot better things in the second half to get down low in the post, draw fouls, make easy buckets. Raptors did a way better job in the second half. Sacramento's second chance points were a little bit better than us, but fast break points again, guys. 22-12. That was a key reason why the Raptors were able to win this game and turn it on its head for them. Was able to move the ball as soon as they got a stop on defense, push that ball forward, like I mentioned, and able to get easy buckets, because we all know that the Kings just are horrible defensively. Like I said, they do not have any like grit. The Kings, they don't show any energy, any emotion. You know, you saw that in tonight's game. They just show no effort in this game tonight, and the Raptors showed it. And then 25 points off turnovers tonight compared to the Kings. A absolutely massive job by the Raptors capitalizing on the Kings turnovers tonight, guys. But you know what, guys? This is a great win for the Raptors. Great third quarter. Fourth quarter was even at 27 points, but the Raptors did a great job turning this game around. Got some good stops in the third quarter. Made some good baskets in this game, guys. You know, you're 2-1 on the Western road trip right now. Only that loss to the Lakers that did annoy me a little bit. You put that away. You got 2 wins now against Golden State and Sacramento in back-to-back games. You played the Portland Trail Blazers on Friday, who have been absolutely red hot as of late, winning 3 in a row and 10 of their last 13. That is not going to be an easy game. But luckily enough, for the third straight time, we're going to be playing a team on the second night of a back-to-back after they played the Miami Heat. Miami has played Golden State the night before we played them, Sacramento the night before we played them, and now they're going to be playing Portland the night before we play them. So hopefully Miami does us another favor, wears out the Portland Trailblazers, maybe taking them all overtime. Give the Raptors an upper hand for the game on Friday night, guys. Raptors get a day off tomorrow, well-deserved after 2 solid back-to-back wins. Let's see how they do on Friday, guys. It's going to be an important game for the Raptors to win. They're right there for third place, tied with the Knicks, who are absolutely struggling right now. They've lost like 9 of their last 11. And then you got to play Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the defending NBA champion, Oklahoma City Thunder. I know, I love watching Shai. Being from Toronto, it's a pleasure to watch him. Only get to watch him twice a year, so it'll be fun to watch the Raptors and see how they play the NBA champion. Let's hope to God that we get RJ Barrett back. He was rumored to play tonight. Unfortunately, he didn't. Let's see what happens with CMB. Did get some x-rays, did get some tests, got checked up by a specialist or something, gets a contusion, a bruise. So hopefully he'll be back sooner rather than later. I don't know what's going to happen. Well, guys like Jakob Poeltl, who knows, man. Jamal took a knock to the knee. Luckily, he battled through that, but we cannot afford to be losing anybody else. We're playing Jonathan Mobile, for God's sakes, in some vital minutes because we have nothing down low in the middle there, guys. So great win tonight for the Raptors. Let's see how they do Friday, and we'll see how they do Sunday as well. We'll see you guys for the game Friday night. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, we'd love to hear your comments in the comment section, so click like the video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Go Raptors, go as always, guys. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Raptors Unfiltered. Ciao, guys.